My name is Andrew Bell. I'm an assistant professor of environmental studies at New York University. Our basis research is an examination of a particular kind of incentive to encourage something called conservation agriculture, and we're working in the Shire River Basin in Malawi. Initially, the motivation is that farming is really hard all across the world. It's particularly hard for smallholder farmers who don't have a lot of capital, a lot of land to spread risks across. And a lot of the things that we're trying to encourage in farming landscapes now are things that we call pro-environmental behaviors, things that are good for the environmental landscape, but don't necessarily in the immediate term have benefits for farmers. So it's a bit of a hard sell, and that's understandable because farmers aren't necessarily willing to take risks to try this new thing that won't necessarily benefit them in the short term. So a lot of what we're trying to look at, and we're focused on conservation agriculture as an example of this, is to understand what's the structure of how people make decisions about whether or not to jump into these kind of pro-environmental hard sell practices. So conservation agriculture, in this case, it means not tilling your soil, leaving it be and allowing the accumulation of root structures to help kind of improve the way soils are able to hold on to nutrients and water. It involves the mulching of your crop residues on top of that as a mechanism. Part of it is to keep the water in, part of it is to keep the soil from flowing away. And then intercropping or rotation of leguminous crops to help bring in a little bit more nitrogen into the soil. So it's a set of three things that are kind of a good idea, but are a bit of a hard sell. And particularly if people haven't been doing these sorts of things, in the short term there are a lot of problems that can arise. If you start to mulch crop residues on top of hard soil that doesn't have a lot of good water capacity, you can waterlog your soils and cause a lot of problems, get pest outbreaks, your plants can die. So it's easy for farmers to try it for a little bit and then just back away. So a lot of it is just understanding how do we communicate this idea that in the longer term this can be a really good thing, but you got to stick it through. We're partnered with the National Smallholder Farmers Association of Malawi and with the Department of Land Resources Conservation, both of whom have part of the role of agricultural extension, reaching out and providing training and consultation with farmers. And we also work with the university, the Longwa University of Agriculture and Natural Resources. But yeah, we've done a lot of really cool things. We've, econometrically, we pulled in some interesting results. We've been able to execute a number of different small experiments within each data collection endeavor and say something interesting about how it appears people are making their decisions and how they're structuring their decisions. And we've had a lot of nice workshops with our partners where we've been able to communicate those and have them make sense and have the partners show an interest in stepping in and improving their own capacity in data collection, data management. So I think that's been useful. We're funded through 2 grants. We're funded through BASIS. We're also funded through a grant from the UK where there is more of a focus on capacity strengthening. And certainly that's when you can see that you've, whether or not the quality of your own data will stand up to scrutiny, you've improved the capacity to collect further data. And it's nice to see.